All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into how to absolutely crush it in an interview for an irrigation technician role.
Love it.
And we have some awesome resources from RoleCatcher to help us break this down.
Yeah.
They've got this awesome career guide and an interview guide.
Mhm.
And we're even going to touch on how their AI can, give you a personalized advantage.
Like having a secret weapon.
Yeah, exactly. So before we get into, the nitty-gritty of the actual questions,
Okay.
I kind of want to set the stage a bit.
Yeah.
What are interviewers really looking for in an irrigation technician?
Well, I think the biggest thing is they want to see that you really understand the fundamentals.
Okay.
Like, do you know about hydraulics and water pressure, different soil types, all the components that make up an irrigation system?
So it's more than just knowing how to turn the sprinklers on and off.
Oh, yeah, way more. They want to see that you can think about how these systems actually work. You
Right.
know, how to troubleshoot problems, and even better if you can come up with solutions to make things more efficient.
Got it. So technical skills are super important.
Yep.
But what about those softer skills? Do those matter in this kind of interview?
Absolutely. Because think about it. You're
Yeah.
going to be working with clients, collaborating with your team, and maybe even managing projects down the road.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So being able to communicate well, being a good problem solver, and working independently are all really valuable in this field.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, so let's dive into those interview questions.
Okay, let's do it.
RoleCatcher put together 9 key questions that they see pop up all the time.
Okay.
And I think it'd be super helpful to spend some time really dissecting each one.
Let's get tactical.
Okay, question number 1. What inspired you to pursue a career as an irrigation technician?
All right.
Now, I know this might seem basic, but there's actually a lot you can do to make your answer stand out.
It's all about how you answer it.
Yeah.
You can't just say, I like being outdoors, you know?
Yeah.
Interviewers want to see genuine passion and interest. What really drew you to this field?
So, maybe you're really into water conservation,
Exactly.
or you think the tech behind these systems is fascinating.
Yeah.
So let's say someone's always been interested in sustainability,
Okay.
and they see this job as a way to make a real impact. How could they work that into their answer?
Well, you could say something like, I've always been passionate about environmental sustainability, and for me, irrigation is a crucial part of that. Yeah. The idea of helping to ensure efficient water use, especially as we face more and more water scarcity, it's something that really motivates me.
Ooh, that's good.
Right?
It shows you're thinking beyond just the day-to-day work
Mm-hmm.
and about the bigger picture.
Yeah, and here's a little bonus tip. If you can tie your answer back to something specific about the company or the role you're applying for,
Okay.
it shows you've done your research and you're genuinely interested in this opportunity.
That is a great point. Okay, let's move on to question number 2.
Okay.
Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot and solve an irrigation system problem?
Classic.
Yeah, this is like a total classic behavioral question
Yeah.
where they want you to show off your problem-solving skills.
Exactly. And remember specifics.
Oh, yeah. Specifics are key. Don't just give a vague answer like, oh, I fixed a broken sprinkler once.
So what kind of details would really impress an interviewer?
Okay, so walk them through your thought process.
Yeah.
What were the symptoms of the problem? What steps did you take to figure out what was wrong?
Okay.
What tools did you use? And most importantly, what was the result?
Got it. So let's say I was working on a system where one zone wasn't getting any water.
Okay.
How could I structure my answer to really highlight those problem-solving skills?
You could say something like, I was working on a residential system and one of the zones wasn't getting any water. So I started by checking the controller to see if the zone was programmed right. Then I inspected the valves to see if there was any damage or blockage. After I ruled those out, I used a multimeter to test the solenoid on the valve.
Yeah.
And it turned out it wasn't getting power. So I traced the wiring back to the controller and found a loose connection. Once I secured that connection, the zone started watering perfectly.
Wow, that is super specific.
Right? It really paints a picture of you systematically working through that problem.
Mm-hmm.
And by mentioning the tools you used, it shows your technical knowledge too.
Exactly. And by highlighting the positive outcome, in this case, getting the zone to water properly, you're showing that you can not only find problems, but you can fix them.
Awesome. Okay, I'm starting to get how important it is to go beyond just the surface level.
Yeah.
And give those detailed answers.
Give them the details.
All right, question number 3. How do you stay updated on new irrigation technology and techniques?
Love it.
I imagine this is about showing you're committed to continuous learning.
Absolutely. This industry is constantly changing with new technologies popping up all the time.
Yeah.
And interviewers want to see that you're staying ahead of the curve and that you're passionate about professional development.
So just saying, I read articles online probably won't cut it.
Probably not. Think about more concrete examples like, have you earned any industry certifications?
Oh, wow.
Like the Certified Irrigation Technician, or CIT, that covers all the fundamentals of irrigation systems?
Yeah.
Or the Certified Landscape Irrigation Auditor, or CLIA? That one focuses on water conservation.
Those are great examples. And I imagine mentioning industry conferences or publications you follow, that would also show that you're actively learning.
Absolutely. And if you can tie any of those learnings back to how you've actually improved your skills or implemented new techniques even better.
Okay, I'm definitely getting the sense that show, don't tell is a key theme here.
Yes.
It's not enough to just say you're a lifelong learner. You need to prove it.
You got to have the receipts.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, question number 4. How do you ensure that an irrigation system is operating efficiently?
Ooh, good one.
This one seems like it's all about attention to detail.
Yes.
And those preventative maintenance skills.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So think about all the steps involved in inspecting a system. What are the key things you look for? How do you spot potential problems before they become major issues?
Okay, so like checking for leaks, inspecting the sprinkler heads, monitoring water pressure.
Yep, all important.
Those would all be relevant here.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget to mention any techniques you use to really optimize water usage, like adjusting those watering schedules based on the weather or the soil moisture levels.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
They're not just looking for theoretical knowledge. They want to see how you apply it in the real world.
Yeah, they want to know you can walk the walk.
Exactly. All right, question number 5. Can you describe a time when you had to work under pressure to complete an irrigation project on time?
The classic, tell me about a time you faced a challenge question.
It seems like they're trying to figure out how you handle deadlines and those unexpected obstacles.
Exactly. And again, a good story can really make your answer memorable. So think about a project where you had to overcome a major hurdle or maybe meet a really tight deadline.
Yep.
What was the situation? What did you do? And most importantly, what was the outcome?
Okay, so let's say I was working on a project and there was a sudden change in the weather that threatened to delay the whole installation.
Oh, that's a good one.
How could I turn that into a story that shows I can work under pressure?
All right, so you could say something like, we were in the middle of installing a huge system and this major storm rolled in. We had a tight deadline and the rain was making it impossible to work safely. So I got together with my team and we came up with a plan to protect the equipment, adjust the schedule, and work some extra hours to make up for the lost time. We ended up completing the installation on schedule, and the client was super happy with our dedication and flexibility.
That's a great example. It shows you're not just reacting to problems, but you're proactive.
Right.
And solution-oriented, even when things get tough.
You're the one coming up with solutions.
Exactly. Okay, so we've covered 5 questions so far.
5 down?
And I think we're off to a great start.
We are on a roll.
Why don't we pick up with the remaining questions in the next part of our deep dive?
Sounds good to me. Okay, so let's jump back into those interview questions. Where were we? Yes. Question number 6. Can you explain how you calculate the water needs of different crops? Now, this one is going to be really important if you're going for a job that involves agricultural irrigation.
Yeah, it sounds like they really want to see if you understand plant science and those water management principles.
Exactly. This is where you can show off your knowledge of things like evapotranspiration rates, soil moisture levels, the specific water requirements of different crops, you know?
Okay, but let's be real. Not everyone's a walking plant encyclopedia.
Right.
If I don't have all those technical terms memorized, how can I still give a good answer?
You know, even if you don't have all the specifics memorized, you can still show that you understand the concepts. You could say something like, I'd start by researching the water needs of those specific crops.
Yeah.
You know, taking into account things like their growth stage, the climate, the soil type, and then I'd use that info to figure out the right irrigation schedule and how much water to use to make sure the plants are healthy without wasting water.
Okay, that's a good approach. It shows you get the key factors even if you don't have all the numbers off the top of your head.
Exactly.
And it shows you're all about research and accuracy.
Yes. And remember, you can always mention resources you'd use, like online databases or industry guidelines. It shows you're resourceful and you're willing to go the extra mile.
Excellent point. Okay, moving on to question number 7. Can you explain how you ensure that an irrigation system complies with local regulations and environmental standards? This one seems pretty crucial, especially with all the focus on water conservation and protecting the environment.
Oh, absolutely. Interviewers want to know that you're not just focused on getting the job done, but that you're doing it the right way. responsibly and ethically.
So it's not just about being a tech whiz, it's about understanding the rules and the environmental side of things too.
Exactly. This is where you can talk about your knowledge of things like permits, water quality regulations, backflow prevention devices, and any other standards in your area.
Okay, but what if I'm not totally up to date on all the specific regulations in every single region? How can I still nail this answer?
You can focus on your commitment to compliance and your willingness to stay informed. You could say, I always make it a priority to learn about the specific regulations wherever I'm working. I would check in with local authorities, review the guidelines, and make sure all installations and maintenance practices meet or exceed the standards.
That's a great way to put it. It shows you take compliance seriously and that you're proactive about staying in the loop.
Right. It shows you're responsible, which is a big deal for any employer.
Okay, question number 8. Can you describe a time when you had to train or mentor a junior irrigation technician? This one seems to be all about those leadership and communication skills.
Absolutely. Even if you haven't had a formal leadership role, you've probably had chances to share your knowledge or help out your colleagues.
Yeah, definitely.
Think about a time when you guided someone through a task, explained something, or helped them solve a problem.
So it's about being patient, communicating clearly, and helping others succeed.
Exactly. And remember, those mentoring moments can happen anywhere, not just in formal training programs. Maybe you helped a coworker learn a new software or showed them a better way to do something.
I like that. It shows that leadership isn't just about titles. It's about stepping up and being a team player.
Exactly. All right, last but not least, question number 9. How do you ensure that an irrigation system is safe for use?
Okay, safety first, right?
Safety is so important in every field, but especially when you're dealing with water, electricity, and equipment that could be dangerous.
Yeah, they really want to see that you make safety a priority and that you understand the risks involved.
Exactly. So here you can talk about things like lockout procedures, electrical safety protocols, using the right personal protective equipment, PPE, and regular inspections.
So it's not just about wearing a hard hat. It's about knowing those safety procedures inside and out and using them all the time.
Exactly. And you can also mention your commitment to ongoing training and staying updated on the latest safety standards.
Perfect.
Okay.
We've covered all 9 interview questions in detail.
Dude it.
I feel like we've given our listeners a ton of actionable advice. But before we move on, I wanted to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about career progression.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide talks about the different stages of an irrigation technician's career.
Right.
And I think it would be super helpful for our listeners to understand how their responsibilities might change over time.
I agree. Knowing those different stages can help you answer interview questions better and plan your future in this field. So let's take a quick look at those career stages.
Awesome. I'm curious to hear how things progress from entry level to those more senior roles.
So according to RoleCatcher, it usually starts with an entry-level technician role.
Okay.
In this stage, you're assisting with installations, doing routine maintenance, and learning the ropes from more experienced technicians.
So lots of hands-on experience and shadowing opportunities.
Exactly. It's all about building those basic skills and getting comfortable with the tools and techniques. Then, as you get more experience and get better at what you do, you move up to a junior technician role.
Okay, so what kind of stuff would a junior technician typically handle?
At this level, you're doing more independent tasks. You might be installing smaller systems on your own, troubleshooting tougher issues, and even talking to clients a little bit.
So more responsibility and more freedom.
Exactly. And as you keep learning and improving, you move up to a mid-level technician role.
Okay, what does that next level look like?
At the mid-level, you start to take on more of a leadership role. You might be leading a team of technicians, overseeing bigger projects, working with clients on system design, and even doing some project management stuff.
Wow. So it's not just about technical skills anymore. It's about developing those leadership and management skills too.
Precisely. And finally, you reach the top as a senior technician.
Okay, I'm excited to hear about this top-level role. What would a senior technician typically do?
At the senior level, you're the expert overseeing whole projects from beginning to end. You might be involved in bidding, contracting, managing budgets, mentoring junior staff, and really driving those strategies for optimizing irrigation systems.
You've gone from apprentice to master. It's amazing to see that career path laid out so clearly.
It is, and I think it shows that this isn't just a job. It's a career with real opportunities for growth.
Absolutely. Now, I know we've talked a lot about interview prep, but RoleCatcher also has some pretty cool AI tools that can help you tailor your answers and really stand out from the competition. Can you tell me more about how their AI works for this?
Oh, it's really impressive. Imagine this. You find a job posting that sounds perfect for you. You upload the description to RoleCatcher, and their AI analyzes it. It picks out the specific skills and keywords that the employer is looking for.
So it's like having a virtual assistant that reads between the lines of a job posting and figures out what they really want.
Exactly. Then it compares those keywords to your resume, your cover letter, and even your practice interview answers.
Wait, it can analyze my practice answers? That's wild.
It is. It can tell you how well you're matching up with what the employer is looking for, and even suggest ways to improve your responses.
So instead of just practicing in the dark, I can get personalized feedback based on the specific job I want. That's a game changer.
It really is, and it goes even further. Remember all those sample answers we talked about? Their AI can help you adjust those answers to fit the specific job requirements.
So instead of using a generic answer, I can use RoleCatcher's AI to make it super relevant to the job I'm going for.
Precisely. It helps you show off your skills and experience in a way that really speaks to the hiring manager.
I am seriously impressed with RoleCatcher's approach to interview prep. They've gone above and beyond the usual stuff.
They have, and I think it highlights a really important point. The job market is competitive, and using every tool you can get your hands on can make a huge difference.
Okay, we've covered so much today. Interview questions, career progression, even AI-powered tools. But before we wrap things up, I wanted to touch on something I think is really important: passion.
Oh, I completely agree. Technical skills and experience are essential, but interviewers also want to see that spark, that genuine enthusiasm for what you do.
Exactly. As you're preparing for that interview, think about what excites you about being an irrigation technician. Is it the challenge of solving problems? The satisfaction of seeing a system work perfectly? The impact you can have on water conservation?
Those are all great examples. When you can show that passion, it makes you more memorable and you stand out as a candidate.
Plus, it shows the interviewer that you're not just looking for any job. You're looking for a career that you'll be excited about every day.
Right. And that enthusiasm can be contagious. It can make the interviewer more excited about you as a potential team member.
So we talked about what irrigation technicians actually do, how to answer tough interview questions, and even how they can move up in their careers. But now I'm really curious about this AI stuff.
Yeah.
It almost sounds too good to be true. Can you give me like a real-world example of how RoleCatcher's AI could help someone get ready for an irrigation technician interview?
Yeah, for sure. Let's say you're applying for a job that's really big on water conservation. Maybe it's for a golf course trying to use less water.
Okay, I could see why that would be important these days.
Definitely. So you take that job description and you upload it to RoleCatcher.
Okay.
Their AI is going to look at it and pick out the key phrases, things like water efficiency, sustainable practices, maybe even specific tech like smart controllers or soil moisture sensors.
So they're basically highlighting what the employer really cares about.
Exactly. Now, let's say you've been practicing your answer to that question about making sure an irrigation system is running efficiently. You know, the one where we talked about checking for leaks and adjusting watering schedules?
Yeah.
Right? But now you're thinking your answer needs to be more focused on conservation.
Right.
That's where the AI comes in. It might say, hey, add a sentence about how you'd use data from soil moisture sensors to fine-tune the watering and avoid using too much water. Or it might remind you to mention your experience with checking systems for efficiency and finding ways to improve them.
So it's like having a personal coach helping you tailor your answers to the specific job.
Exactly. And it's not just about adding keywords. RoleCatcher's AI can also look at your tone and how you're saying things, helping you sound confident and enthusiastic.
Wow, that's really impressive. I can see how using these tools could give someone a real edge when there's so much competition for jobs.
Absolutely. And it shows how the whole job search process is changing. People are using technology to show off their skills and stand out.
Totally. Well, we've covered so much ground today, from the details of interview questions to the possibilities of using AI to prepare. I feel like anyone listening to this deep dive is going to be way more ready to rock their irrigation technician interview.
I hope so too. Remember, it's not just about what you know, it's about how you present yourself and showing that you're passionate about this field. So go out there, show off your skills, and help make the future more sustainable, one drop at a time.
Great advice. And don't forget to use those resources we talked about, especially RoleCatcher's AI tools. They can really help you make a great impression and land that dream job.
Exactly.
So go ace those interviews and help us build a better future for everyone.
Until next time, keep diving deep